guys, welcome back to my channel. On today's Explained episode, we'll be talking about the Japanese pub, aka the izakaya. We'll be talking about what is the izakaya, the origin and revolution of izakaya, the Japanese drinking culture, and more. Check it out. Hi new friend, this is Erica right here. I'm a Taiwanese citizen currently living in America. Cooking and traveling is my passion, so I'm here to share with you my favorite Asian recipes. On top of that, all my videos cover a little food knowledge and a history background of the dish, as well as a Chinese lesson at the end of the video. So if that interests you, please subscribe and keep watching. There's a lot I want to talk about today, so I'm going to separate it into two different videos. On today's video, we're going to talk about what is an izakaya and the history and the evolution behind it, as well as what izakaya means to the Japanese culture nowadays. And next week, I'll be sharing with you the Japanese drinking culture, teach you how to properly drink with the Japanese people, as well as 3 different recipes to teach you how to make the simple appetizer you can find in a izakaya restaurant. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel already, remember to hit the subscribe button as well as the little bell and you'll never miss out. But without further ado, let's get straight into the content today. When it comes to drinking, izakaya is the most popular choice for night owls in Japan. But to explain to you what is izakaya, we need to learn a little Japanese today. The izakaya in Japanese literally means bar or pub. The first character, I, means sitting down. And the second character, you may already know, it means sake, which is alcohol. In Japanese, when they combine different characters together, sometimes the sound of the character will change. So even though the second character pronounced sake, when it combines together, it changes the sound into zaka. And last but not least is the ya, which means shop. So if you combine the first 2 characters together, the izaka is a verb that means sitting down and drink. The last 2 characters, if you combine it together, is a zakaya, which means a liquor store, because you buy alcohol in a shop, right? So that's why the izakaya means a pub. It's a place that you can sit down and drink alcohol. During the medieval era in Japan, a izakaya is not only a liquor store but also a brewery. But during the time of izakaya, they only sells alcohol, but they don't let you sit down and drink. Not until the 17th century, the izakayas in the Edo region started to let people to sit down in their store and drink alcohol. During that time, the main customer for the izakayas are the blue-collar workers, such as the store workers, the truck driver, as well as the famous rickshaw workers. These people have a very simple life and low income, so going to drink in a cheap izakaya become their main entertainment after work. Over the years, these izakayas started to sell appetizer as well. One of the earliest dishes that they come up with is the grilled tofu skewer, which is a protein that can feed their customer but also doesn't cost too much. At that time, these izakayas still really rely on selling alcohol instead of serving in the store. Until the 1750s, there are more and more izakaya popping up in the Edo region, and they can't really rely on selling alcohol alone anymore. So they started to shift their whole business model from a liquor store into a bar. In 1783 in Edo region, the liquor store in the area have been divided in 3 different types, which are the top, middle, and mix. The top liquor store, they mainly sell barrel of liquor and sometimes they sell little small bottles. And for the middle liquor store is the opposite. They mostly sell the bottled wine instead of the big barrel. And the mix are the retail and restaurant, which closely resemble today's izakayas. During the time in Edo region, the male and female ratio is around 2 to 1. Most of the men working in the area are single and they don't really cook at home because cooking back in the day is not so easy. There's no Instant Pot, there's not even a stove, so if you want to cook at home, you literally have to start your own fire, which is a lot of work for those people that live by themselves and also they've been working labor job all day already. So the izakaya saw this business opportunity and started to sell small entree in their restaurants. And that's how eating out in the izakaya became the new normal. In 19th century, izakaya had finally transformed totally from the liquor store into a restaurant where general public eats. And the menu in the izakaya also become more and more abundant. According to a document, they've been serving a lot of fish dishes, tofu, as well as soup, the famous miso soup. We have already talked about how ancient Japanese don't really eat meat in our tamagoyaki recipe videos. I'll leave a link up here, so if you want to check it out, you can always go back. But here we'll simply just tell you, during the Meiji era, which is around late 19th, early 20th centuries, the Japanese finally been influenced by the Western people that they start to eat more meat and egg in their diet. So the izakaya also started to sell the boiled beef dish, as well as the grilled chicken and pork skewer besides seafood. If you ask a Japanese person, they may not even know that a grilled chicken skewer is not the original dish, because that is the most popular thing that Japanese order nowadays in an izakaya. In addition to the small shop that are owned by the individuals, izakaya in Japan nowadays also have chain restaurants owned by the big corporations. Due to the abundance of the material, izakaya's menu has become more and more diversified. The typical dish that you'll see in the izakaya right now will be lettuce salads, sashimi, chicken skewer, grilled fish, barbecue, various of fried food, even creative dish and desserts. And due to the variety of food that provided by izakaya, nowadays when Japanese go to izakaya, they may not necessarily go there to drink. They might just want to go there and sit down to eat and chat with their friends and families. In addition, Japan has strictly banned the drunk driving and the underage drinking. So a lot of izakaya restaurants nowadays also provide a non-alcohol beverage in order to serve these type of needs. Therefore, the boundary between restaurant and izakaya has become increasingly blurred. So what's the difference between restaurant and izakaya really? This question is kind of interesting because it's literally the question of what's the difference between restaurants, diner, and bars. If you insist on distinguishing the difference between restaurant and izakayas, in principle, izakaya must have alcohol, which the normal restaurant may not. The general purpose of a restaurant is to let the guests dine, but in an izakaya, you can not only let the guests dine, but also sit and chat for a longer period of time. And generally, restaurants are open during the lunch, afternoon tea, and dinner time and close relatively a little bit early, which an izakaya is normally open during the dinner time until late night. We mentioned earlier that the people go to the izakaya in the Edo period are the low-income laborers. But during the modern time, izakaya has become everyone's favorite, especially the middle-class office worker. They don't just come here to relax and chat with their friends and families, they also come and socialize with their colleagues, manager, and potential customers. For them, going to a normal restaurant might seem a little too formal, and also they close relatively early for their business schedule, so izakaya become the best option for both. It's also not surprised that Japanese college students love to come to izakaya because of its variety of dishes and environment, also the affordable pricing. And besides that, izakaya is kind of like a pub, so you can be as loud as you want really and not worry about affecting others. However, an izakaya still reminds people about alcohol, and also it opens till late night. So a lot of Japanese still think that izakaya is not suitable for minors. So a lot of izakaya restaurants will refuse minors to enter the store without their guardians. The word of the day today is 居酒屋, which is the Chinese pronunciation of izakaya. In Japan and Taiwan, we both use the traditional character in our language, but we pronounce it very differently. Earlier in the video, I teach you how to pronounce these characters in Japanese, which is I, sake, and ya. When you combine it together, it's izakaya. And in Chinese, we pronounce these three characters 居酒屋, which means exactly the same because we translate it straight from Japanese, we just pronounce it differently. So izakaya in Chinese is 居酒屋. Thank you for watching the video to the end. Let me know if you like the content by giving this video a thumbs up. It's only gonna take you a second, but it means a lot to me. I make a video on YouTube every Thursday, so remember to hit that bell and you'll never miss out. Last but not least, don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you next Thursday. Bye!